All right, here's a look at the current AFC playoff picture in a real topsy-turvy season in the NFL, especially in the AFC. Colts 1, Broncos 2, Patriots 3. Chiefs and Ravens aren't even there. They'd be out of the playoffs as of right now. And the Bills, they would be on the road in the wild card round. And speaking of topsy-turvy, the best QBs in the league have all had their issues this season. Josh Allen's turnover problems have returned. The Bills have dropped 3 of their last 5. One of those wins did come against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, still trying to climb out of an early hole. It's the latest into a season Mahomes hasn't had at least a share of the AFC West lead, and they are not close. 2.5 games back heading into Sunday's game against first-place Denver. Lamar Jackson's season has been more about his injury issues than any issues on the field. 3 games he's missed with a hamstring injury, and he missed practice Wednesday with a knee injury. The Ravens play the Bengals on Thanksgiving, a game that Joe Burrow has circled to try to return for the first time since week 2. The Bengals just 1-6 since Burrow went down with turf toe. So the MVP odds look a lot different than we thought they would. I mean, Mahomes and Allen are still up there, but look at the names at the top. Drake Maye, Matthew Stafford. We've seen Baker Mayfield up there this season. Sam Darnold has been incredible. Daniel Jones is up there as well in the top 10. So let's get former NFL quarterback Danny Kanell in here. And Danny, there's a board up in our newsroom where a bunch of us compiled a list of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL going into the season. And it was those 4 at the top. It was Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, not in that particular order. But the only other quarterback that was in the top 10 that's playing at that level right now is Baker Mayfield. So many of these other guys were way down the board. How have these second and third tier guys played at the top of their game this season?
Oh, it's amazing. And a couple of them, it's like a change of scenery or a coaching staff has just done wonders for a lot of these players. And I'll start with Drake Maye because he's a player in his rookie season, had sort of a dysfunctional coaching staff, young coach trying to, find his way in New England. Then all of a sudden you bring in probably one of the best coaching candidates of this offseason, Mike Vrabel, and you pair him with Josh McDaniel for the offensive coordinator job. And all of a sudden, it's amazing how Drake Maye has played. He was my favorite quarterback coming out. I thought he had all the skills that you wanted. He's a very natural thrower of the football. He's athletic. He can make plays. He's mobile. And it does show you that it is about the supporting cast, and it is about the development, and it is about the coaching and scheme that you've been given. So Drake Maye has been outstanding, and there was a lot of people last year that wondered about his future. And that just shows you it's a perfect example of, well, this is what happens when you give a young quarterback dysfunction. They're not going to overcome that. They can't just put the team on their back and their play just rises to the top. You've got to give them a good support system. So New England has done that, and Drake Maye, even with all that, it's still pretty astounding how well he's played as just a second-year player in his full season as a starting quarterback. It has been fantastic, but I feel very confident the New England Patriots have found their quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. He's a great kid. He says and does all the right things. Like, he is perfect for what you want in a starting quarterback.
He's atop the MVP odds along with Matthew Stafford. We had a ton of questions about his health going into the season, and he's been one of the healthiest quarterbacks in the league this year. You also have Sam Darnold, who was just kind of, an afterthought. He had a great year in Minnesota, but what could he do in Seattle? Daniel Jones, we weren't even sure he was going to win the starting job in Indianapolis. Of those quarterbacks, which one has surprised you the most?
I'm not surprised with Stafford. His stuff was injury related and people writing him off at 37. I'm not that surprised with Daniel Jones. I'll go Sam Darnold. I was very curious to see because I thought both the Vikings and the Seahawks would be worse off after that move when they moved on from Sam Darnold and they brought in J.J. McCarthy. I was very curious how Darnold would do without the quarterback whisperer that they have as a head coach in Minnesota. So I've been really impressed with him. Another one where a player that was written off early in his career, what amazing thing it does for confidence with him. Andy's got some good weapons. There's a commonality there. But I think all he needed to do was kind of see and feel himself, what it was like to have the success and realize preparation, what it takes. And so he learned that in Minnesota, had all this confidence that he was able to take to Seattle, another organization that believed in him and said, you know what? We're going to make you our guy. We're going to pay you that money that even Minnesota wasn't really willing to commit to. But he took that confidence and has run with it in Seattle. So I'd say he's probably the surprise one for me, because I didn't expect it to happen that way. But it's hard because I thought Daniel Jones would win the starting job. I thought he could have success, but I didn't think Daniel Jones would be atop the NFL in some of these statistical categories either.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones has the Colts right now in 1 seed position in the AFC. If you're worried about any of these guys, which one would it be? I know what Pete Prisco would say. He would say it's Sam Darnold because of what happened at the end of last year with the Minnesota Vikings. He kind of reverted back to his old self. Of Drake Maye, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, of those guys, which one are you most worried about sustaining this play moving forward?
I'll go Daniel Jones from the standpoint of, I've been through this roller coaster before as a former New York Giant, somebody who roots for the team and really wanted to see him succeed in New York. You did have flashes of brilliance. Again, not this brilliant, where he's atop the NFL in passing yards, but I do go back to that Steelers game and I said, was that the first glimpse we had of the old Daniel Jones, where he was pressured, he was sacked throughout the game, he threw 3 interceptions, had a couple fumbles, and they were able to shut down Jonathan Taylor. So that very clearly is what you have to do to stop Daniel Jones. Now, that's very, it's easier said than done, but I do look at him and I'm like, man, he needs Jonathan Taylor to play big for him to play big. And so I need to see more of a body of work of Daniel Jones sustaining this level of success. You also look at Indy's schedule, who are the best teams that they've beaten. They really haven't exactly gone through a gauntlet. And the one team that they did lose to was Pittsburgh on the road, that game that he struggled, along with the Rams, another pretty good team in which Daniel Jones threw 2 interceptions in that game as well. So I do think Daniel Jones is one that I look at. I'm rooting for him, but I just am not completely sold yet because I need to see it last longer, the consistency longer over a period of time.
Maybe you'll see it next weekend. They're off this week, but next week on CBS in Kansas City against the Chiefs for the first place Colts in the AFC.